Hello guys and welcome back to the second episode of the Sorare £1,000 Road to Glory. So in today's video we're going to be giving you sort of an overview of the gallery and what my plans are for the upcoming season for when the European League start again, and just to give you a run through of what kind of teams I want to build and what I'm going to be focusing on for the next season. So hopefully this can give you some ideas of what you want to do as well. But first, before we get into the video, make sure that you do your own research before depositing money onto the Sorare website. It is a very volatile market and things can happen very quickly. So do with your own money as you please, and just remember this can be quite risky. And also, if you haven't signed up to Sorare yet, then click the link in the description, and when you purchase 5 limited cards off the market house, you will receive a free tier 2 limited MLS card only for a limited time. I think it's for another week or so. So if you haven't signed up already, click the link in the description, purchase 5 cards using my link. So, checking out my gallery now, let's have a look. So, I'll run you through my cards first. I won't show you the commons. I'll start off from the limiteds. Oh no, I'll start off from the rares. I'll show you the rares first, and then I'll show you my limiteds and I'll explain what my strategy is for the upcoming season. So, these are my current rare cards. As you can see, heavily European based, one MLS player in Brendan Hines Ike. So, I did also have Birnbaum, but that was only sort of to cover me towards the end of last season because I've got a few Belgian Pro League players here and their season finished before the Austrian League. So, after buying a couple MLS players, I was able to carry on hitting the thresholds for the last couple of weeks using the Austrian Bundesliga players as well. So these are my rares. I am going to be looking at selling them before the European season starts, or roughly about when it does start, so that I can focus on limiteds. I'm shifting from a rare account to limited account. I just believe that now you need a rare goalkeeper. It's just not really worth it to hit the thresholds at the minute for my budget. I'd rather focus on building a couple good, strong, limited teams and winning rewards each week for limiteds. So I just don't see it worthwhile spending all this money and having all these rares when I can have a couple decent limited teams instead. But yeah, I purchased all these cards months and months ago. Sort of ETH value, they're roughly the same, a little bit higher. Fiat value, they're down quite a lot at the minute, but that's what I'm hoping as the European season picks up again, I'll be able to sell them on. Hopefully generate about 0.5 to 0.6 ETH. So I mean that could easily give me a good team for limiteds. So moving on to limiteds now. Again, sort of a similar vibe. All are European players. I've gone for mainly, well, trying to get mainly starters. I've also got a couple of youth players in there that I think are going to have good seasons this year and hopefully start getting a few appearances off the bench, which will make the price increase. So even towards the end of last year I picked up a couple of young ones that will get a few games right at the end when teams are rotating a lot more when they got nothing to play for. So I'll start off at the bottom. I've got Al Hassan Yusuf from Antwerp. So he's mainly been playing either in the under 23 or challenger or even in specialist. So he was another young player that he was getting a few games off the bench for Antwerp last season, but he did start getting much more of a starting role towards the end of the season, and I think he'll continue that on next year and hopefully solidify his position as a starter in the team. Picked him up for 0.0065 ETH. Next we've got Daniel Schmidt. So he's goalkeeper for STVV in the Belgian Pro League. I think he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for next year. He was quite a safe option, quite cheap. I think I picked him up for, yeah, there, 0.33 ETH, £79.70. So it's quite a good deal on him. He's quite cheap. Hopefully starting goalkeeper for next season. I can't see him leaving. He's got until 2023 in his contract, so he should be okay. Next up we've got Christian Burgess. So he's just recently signed a new contract as well with USG. He's a solid player, great all-round scores each week. Believe he'll be a good player for next season, probably playing the Challenger Europe team. Next, Julian Dessart. So he played on the bench a couple of games towards the end of last season, but he's a consistent starter. Again, good all-round scores, and he'll be a good player for next season. Same goes for Hainan, good player for Genk. Moving on with Wesley Hoyt, ex-Southampton player. Yeah, he's a great player and I believe he'll be starting again next season. I did want to focus quite a lot on just getting starting players for my Challenger Europe team. Might also play an All-Star. It'll vary each week based on lineups and fixtures, and you know, whoever's got the easier matchup. I'll probably end up playing in All-Star just for the chance to win Champ Europe cards. Next up, JD Gwissons. So he's another youngster just brought. He hasn't ever played for Genk, but he's one of the best players in their youth team. And I'm hoping next season, you know, if there's a couple of injuries or they've got a new manager now. So if the new manager decides to give him a run out, even if it's sort of, you know, off the bench or whatever, that can always make his price increase. And yeah, holding him for the long term. Next, Joseph Akumu for Ghent. He's been linked a bit with a few transfers away, but I can't see him leaving this season. I think Ngadju's probably more likely to leave, his other centre-back pairing, but he's been a solid player. He's played most games this season, but I think he'll be for sure starting next season. Next up, Mikkel Balikwisha. So he's a youngster, promising player, very inconsistent though, but when he does play well, and he has impressed for Antwerp this season. Again, Antwerp got quite a big budget. They like developing youth players. They've got a great youth system, so I'm hoping he'll keep his starting place next season and hopefully he can perform well. Next up, Matthias Dilorga Nipa. So he's a very young player for STVV. I don't know if he's going to break through next season. It might be another season, but you never know. I picked him up for 0.0035, £8.6p, so nothing really spent on him. Doesn't matter if it doesn't ever work out. Low risk investment, hopefully it'll pay off. Next up, Stanley Socky. So he's been an exceptional player towards the end of last season. He's had some great scores, and he's also under 23 for next season, so he can fit into my under 23 team if needs be. But I think I'm mainly focusing in on All-Star or Challenger Europe, depending on the fixtures again. But he's a great player. Picked him up 0.0365, which was very cheap considering how much he is now. I think he's up about 0.09, so I'm making great profit on him, but I'll be keeping him for next season. Next, Stellar Andrew. So he's a centre back for Charleroi. He's a good player. Got his rookie card. It's a very nice looking card. Fairly expensive, but I think next season he will be a consistent star. I think they had another centre back on loan from Turkey, but I think he might be staying back in Turkey, and I don't think he'll stay at Charleroi. So I'm hoping he'll get his place cemented and he'll be a consistent starter for next season. And again, he can fit into under 23 or special weeklies or whatever. So it's very, very versatile. Next, we've got Nicholas Storm. So he's a Mechlin forward, well, left winger, but he's been heavily linked with transfer away to either like Standard Liège, I think it might have been. And now the manager's left as well. I'm not sure what his plan might be, but he might go with his old manager to Genk. But we'll just have to wait and see on him. But again, he gets decent AAs each game, and he can pop up with decisive, so he's a good player. Next, got David Royf. So I bought him a couple months ago, just as he was starting to get back into the team. I think it was just after their cup final win, and he produced some excellent games towards the end of last season. So I think that might have now solidified his spot as starting goalkeeper, which is huge. Next, Jean Van Heck from Mechlin. So he's a midfielder, but he came in the last couple of games last season as a right back, so his scores weren't great. But again, young player, and hopefully next season he can start starting a few more games, and that will just increase his price. I'm not looking to keep him for long. I'm hoping as soon as he starts a few games his price will go up a bit. I picked him up for there it is, 0.0008, £1.86, so literally nothing spent on him, and hopefully he'll start a few games next season and go up in price. Now, this one here, Christian Arnstead. I really like him. He's an exceptionally young player for Anderlecht. He's broken into the first team towards the end of last season. The manager, which was Vincent Kompany, really liked him. He's shot up in price. I think he's about 0.03, I think. Something around there, 0.02. but I picked him up for 0.0068, exceptional long-term talent. He's got a lot of potential, and if he can start getting a starting spot for Anderlecht next season, then he could go up in price quite a lot. Next, Mark Hamsik, I won him as a reward in the Challenger Europe. Oh no, it was All-Star. I'll show you the team that won that quickly. SO5 results. When was it I won him? 268. I'll show you the team that won him. So this was the team that won him. We had David Royf in goal, Akumu, who scored, Hoyt, Julian Dessart and Nicholas Storm. So yeah, tier 2 limited, just short of a tier 1 limited. My forward or midfielder didn't get any decisives, but luckily Akumu did. But yeah, look, 7 away from the tier 1 limited, which would have been nice. But I'll take Hamsik as my first card reward. I haven't been playing limited for long, only a couple months. But again, not playing over the summertime. So I think he's valued about 0.02, so about £20 or so. But I'm hoping once the European season starts up again, he'll go up in price along with all the other Europeans. Next, I took 2 punts here. So the first one is Abdullah Yigatir. So he is the goalkeeper for Tassipur, I think it is. And their current keeper who started most games last season just left and he's gone to Saudi Arabia. So I'm hoping that the manager's got enough trust in him to start him next season. I don't know a lot about him, he didn't really play much, but I'm just hoping that because of the new rules, I think there is playing a certain amount of Turkish players, or I'm not too sure, and their financial status isn't great. I'm hoping that he can get a starting position next season and he'll be my under 23 goalkeeper. And then the same sort of goes for Abdul Samad Damlu. So his team just got relegated to the second league in Turkey, and I'm hoping he's going to get transferred back to the first league to play first team football. He said that he wants to play first team football and that he is definitely capable of playing first team football. He's done exceptionally well towards the end of last season with a relegation team, and he did really impress, and there's been a lot of strong links back to the Super League in Turkey. And then finally we've got Yunus Akgün, who's going to be my forward for my under 23 team. I'm really excited about him. He's been playing really well recently and he had a great season on loan. He's going to return back to Galatasaray though, where I hope they'll keep him. I know there's been some interest from Italy, I think it was, about him. But if he can get a starting position at Galatasaray, which he will get a starting position I reckon, but it's just whether he can stay. There's a lot of transfer news for him linking him away, but if he stays he'll be really good for next season. Like looking at his last, sort of 5 games, but these are all aboard for Turkey, but he had a great game against Göztepe, I think it's called. But yeah, I picked him up for there it is, Yunus Akgün, £96.21p on 0.098 ETH. So I think he's up about just over 0.1 ETH now, but I'm not looking to sell him anytime soon. I've got big hopes for him next season, and hopefully he can keep his form from this season. So yeah, that's sort of my gallery and my cards at the minute and what I've got. Not much left in the ETH bank at the minute, but like I said, once I sell these rare cards, which I'll do in the next couple of weeks, probably, or just right before the season starts, or just as it's starting in, I'll start selling some of these off, and then I'll have enough ETH to then finish building my under 23 team. So in the next episode I'll start to show you what my potential lineups are going to look like, and the sort of players I've got, and the sort of players that I'm targeting for next season for my certain teams. At the minute I've got an all-star team, a Challenger Europe team, sort of a half specialist team, and then sort of half under 23 team. But again, I need to buy a couple more players, but I'll show you in the next episode sort of what I'm looking to build and how my lineups might look for next season. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you could go down, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you've got any questions, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.